My name is Ashish Thakur. I've been a member of TiE since 2006. I'm going to do a brief introduction.
TriNet is a professional employer organization. We're the largest company of our kind. We are new to Atlanta. We've been here about 5 months.
As businesses who are looking to outsource that HR piece, we've had particular success in specific verticals, software, biotech, clean tech, some of the...
This is the first time we're having a TiE meeting at this venue. It always had been for a long time at the Ashford Club. And look at the turnout. The message got out, and we even have more people than we used to ever before. So it's going great places, and we're all very excited about it.
Yes, I'm not in any of the technology fields, but TiE has been amazing in getting to venture out and meet new people and learning about other new businesses that I've never been exposed to. So it's been quite an education.
So I just want to highlight a few of our upcoming panels before I talk about March 10th.
And so I think it's very timely for us to start addressing the economic situation. Look at, of course, all of us remember the free fall, right? When you were trying to log into your bank accounts and you didn't know whether your bank existed or it did not exist, right? Or your portfolio existed or did not exist. So I think we've all seen a lot of that uncertainty, stress, and the only difference between a roller coaster ride and what happened last year was at least you knew that at the end of the roller coaster ride you were actually getting off at the same place you got on. Great supporter of our community and TiE, Dr. Rajiv Dhawan. He's professor and director of the Economic Forecasting Center at the Robinson College of Business at the Georgia State University. And he'll be joined by panelists Raj Deshpande, our charter member, and Vibha Rustagi, also a charter member, and I will introduce them.
It's a great pleasure to be at an event where my last name can be pronounced correctly. Even I have forgotten how to pronounce my last name correctly. But we had a boom. We had a tech boom, which when it burst, an artificial one called the construction boom was created, and now we have the hangover finally of both of them. So you see, this is steel production capacity. It's one way of looking at the economy. It was running at 90% capacity before the Lehman AIG fiasco. And look at this drop down. From 90% down to the lowest, 33.5. So you got a problem. The businesses, the corporations have not come back into the game. Leisure travel, maybe. In between, you want to be a risk taker, right? So this dude on the Harley says, driving a Harley gives me that image of a wild risk taker. Hey, there's another way to do it. I know what you mean. I drive a Toyota. So definition of risk has changed. This was before the free fall. This is after the free fall. So risk-taking capacity in the economy is actually down at this point. That's one of the points I will be making. In between, the groundhog came out and it saw his own shadow. And did he see his own shadow? No. He saw Obama's budget. You know, deficits are mounting up, and I looked at the list of questions Madhu had passed it on to me. Very good questions, a lot of them about inflation, deficits, small businesses. A couple of them were like, what should I do after graduating? I'm not going to go over there, okay? So the CEO confidence, the blue line has recovered. Historically, regressions tell you that after it recovers, 6 months later, investment recovers.
One of the things, it's very interesting, it depends on your perspective in the marketplace. I'll give you an example of the last 3 years. Actually, even going back a little, a neighbor of mine is very much into real estate. And he was, along with a prominent builder, was going and doing stuff in Florida. And this was in 05, 06, and he gave me some words of advice. And you know, we used to meet each other as I went down my drive to get my paper, go up, down the hill, get the paper. He's coming down the hill, get his paper, and we used to chat. And he said, I've got so many tens and tens of millions invested in Florida. We went down, we are investing. The key is, it's a bubble, don't be the last man standing, so get out. So that was his advice in 05, 06, he could see that coming. Last year I asked him, did he really get out? And his answer was, no, he succumbed to greed, and actually he is now stuck with a whole bunch of money tied up in Florida. So you can see stuff happening, and yet your gut takes you elsewhere, and you see things.
Companies like AT&T and Verizon that were traditionally providing voice and data are now getting aggressively into the video business. So that's all good, and the competition obviously increases spending with healthier companies that, to Rajiv's point, have cash in their banks. So that's the good news, and it continues with further competition from satellite, which also has compelling offerings, compelling pricing structures, topped by companies like Apple and Google that are getting into the video business.
For example, Comcast is saying their revenues are growing 4%. They're going to give their investors a 7% return. How are they going to give a 7% return when the revenues have only grown 4%? AKA cost cutting, AKA technology improvements. They're going to do that, and they're going to cut rid of the employees, which doesn't matter. I mean, they're providing the returns, but it leaves less money to play for entertainment down the road.
Less consumers.
Right.
It does, but it
Consumers,
also,
that's the
yeah,
problem.
but also it does provide, you know, with the entertainment being at a lower cost, just like you were pointing out, Raj, there's a segment of consumers that will still want to be entertained. You know, being entertained for a $5 video-on-demand movie, or going with 4 people to a theater at $50.
You know, so you have to look at the rest of the economy. You're both are coming from a sector that actually benefited in this recession because people substituted away from the expensive activities to the cheaper, quicker fun.
No question
And
at all.
substitution is always, there's always going to be sectors that are going to benefit even in the free fall. The issue is, can they make up for the other people? And that's what's happening right now. You're going to have some green jobs. You're going to have some other stuff too. But it's going to be like drops in a bucket compared to what we need. We need to put back about 8.5 million people back to work.
True.
And you cannot come up with a scheme remotely to put them back to work because the corporate sector, I mean, just look at GE. I mean, everybody talks about technology. I say you want to look when the economy is going to recover, 2 indicators. Look at the car sales. That tells you the consumers are back in the game. Car sales have to cross 13, 14 million vehicles per year rate on a sustained basis before the consumer's back, number one. You want to see how the economy is back? Look at the GE share price. GE revenues and the share price is still down 70% from the peak. Whereas the Dow has recovered about half of that. So why is GE not recovering even though it is the most diversified corporation on the earth?
Thank you.